Make it a little bit, oh, much better. Much better. So, good evening, everybody. In a day that we figured would be filled with a lot of volatility, I feel very comfortable in a direction here that we've been taking and a narrative and a simple focus that we have here going into when we can get into the next alt season, whether it's we can push up now, whether it's too early and we have to go down for further support, whatever the case may be, we have a real good plan here. And we have a basic understanding of what is really going to pay dividends when we do, in fact, get to alt season this time around. This next bull season, I have no doubt we have the exact focus and the exact targets on what will lead us out of despair and out of poverty, if that's where you find yourself right now. And I think we've got a very, very nice line and directive here of what can get us out of that exact narrative. So, as we get going here, remember, especially in the beginning, this is for entertainment purposes. I am not a financial advisor, but I do take very seriously what I do with these portfolios as far as my own, and knowing that I have over 45,000 people that watch me now, I take it very seriously what I do, and I don't try to put out any kind of fun, and I try to put out exactly what I see on the charts, and in a way that I think can help us best. You know, so that's what I'm going to continue to do. So I want you to make sure when you're trading here that, you know, you are in fact in control of your portfolio. You're not just waiting for me to tell you something because, you know, I'm not a financial advisor. And I want you to be able to at least take control of what you do. But I am going to try to be here every step of the way, not just for myself, but also for all of you as well. So I thank you all for being here. And as I've stated, I am not afraid of the market. I'm not going to get out of the market. I'm very heavily invested in the market. And no, I didn't just start investing today. We've had a very big narrative here. And what I've been doing is I had it before the market ran up for anybody who's in. I sold a lot of it. You can go back to my earlier videos earlier this year when I sold 75% of the portfolio. And that wasn't including my XRP or XRP healthcare. But if you're new, you wouldn't know that. Actually, you know what? I take that back because my 38 cent XRP was absolutely sold during that time. So, strike from the record what I just said about XRP. But my normal bag that I carry around in the XRP wallet, the XRP healthcare wallet. You good, Julie? Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, my son's sleeping. So, what I carry around in the XRP healthcare wallet, you know, that stays there. But yeah. This area, though, I think in this part of this, what we're dealing with, I think we've got a very line focus here. And let's forget about the portfolios here for a minute. But what we're looking at is what we need to look at, the proper tokens, because there's so many meme tokens. There's so many different kind of tokens. There's so many AI tokens. Man, I'm telling you right now, if you just listen to me during this chapter right now, you're not going to be in poverty anymore. If you didn't listen to me with XRP, that's fine, because why would anybody? You know, when I started in March of 2021, nobody knew who I was. And the cool thing is I've been here every single day, so at least you started to get to know who I am. And you can see everything we've done in every single cycle and how we've advanced so crazy in the last couple of years. But the payoff hasn't happened yet. I know it's crazy to think that, but the actual payoff hasn't happened. For XRP, in a way, it has. You know, from 3,000 to 30,000 and so on and so forth, and 10,000 tokens. It's great, right? But the real payoff hasn't happened. The real payoff is with IOTA. That's sitting at 20 cents. And we have a much bigger portfolio, if you've been dealing with me since 21, that we can throw into all of this now. You know, we can also ride Algo, which is at 25 cents. It's for the outside looking in that doesn't understand. When I sit here seeing Algo at 25 cents in my head, it's going da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. And then I go to IOTA and I see 20 cents. I go, oh my God. Oh my God. Then I start going down even farther. Holy fuck. You know, and then you start going to the other page and you go, oh God. I can't believe Axelar sat there for so long and let me buy it for that much. You know, and then you see data and everything else. You're like, oh, the IoT and the ISO is truly going to bring us to the promised land. And 99% of people are like, what the hell is an IoT? But that's why you have to be in. I watched my. I liked the energy of the live earlier. But I also miss the carefree mentality instead of the so serious. You know, there can be a fine line. And I think the fine line is going to be tonight. The fine line is the narrative and the directive here. Listen, the Internet of Things and the ISO compliant tokens, forget everything else. If you forget everything else right now, you are going to make so much money that your head is going to spin backwards and forward at the same time. Impossible, right? Not when you have a lot of money, it's not. So I've been told. Money can make anything happen, right? Have a problem, make it disappear. You know, you're sick, you got money to pay for whatever needs to be done. You see what I'm saying here? You can have somebody look backwards and forward for you if you got enough money and make it look like you did them both. So, I think if we just pay attention and don't get shooken out here and not get so caught up in the up and down, left and right, whatever I said the last couple of days. Don't be a trader here, guys. If you're in until this rotation breaks. The rotation hasn't broke. In fact, it's actually making me more comfortable every time it tries to bounce down. Every single time it tries to bounce down, I laugh now and say, oh my God, this is exactly what they would have to do. That's as far as it can possibly go. Look at now, if it bounces up, it created a perfect Gartley reversal here on IOTA. I know I keep talking about IOTA, but it truly is special. That's a special one right there, I'll tell you what. And one day we're going to be sitting here saying, I can't believe we were talking about IOTA at 20 cents. Thank you, Tom. I'm going to say, oh my God, I am Tom. Thank you, Tom. That wasn't even you guys. I forgot I am Tom. Sometimes I watch my own content. I'm like, that XRP Future Millionaire sure does speak some sense. Why can't I just listen to him? Like, wait a minute, that is me. I got to listen to him. Can't say it and not do it. I don't know if any of you have ever been in the same situation, but it's happened to me. I'll be watching it and I'll be like, you know, that makes a lot of fucking sense. I'll be like, wait a minute, that's me. Of course it makes sense. And then I'll be like, why am I thinking anything else? So, you know, that's what I mean. Like, sometimes when you see it, it's kind of funny. But right now, we got nothing to worry about. Ethereum has done everything we want it to do. It even drained liquidity. And, like, I remember sending a message to the Find earlier in the Telegram. You know, between admin to admin. Actually, I don't even look at it that way. Between friends. And I'm like, he asked me a question. I'm like, nah, that liquidity grab might be all we needed. Because that was significant. It's awesome. And now we might be on our merry way. Now, it is a little bit early as far as the pattern, but not every pattern needs to wait all the way. So hopefully, we can just keep going. We break past 4,100, my dear God. And I don't know, some of you feel this way because you've been doing this since 2021 with me. This is actually the cycle that puts us into the promised land. We had to wait through, remember the first cycle? We had to sell it at the right time and then wait to buy in before the second cycle takes off. After that pullback now, and after a 4-year wait getting into November almost, and now we actually did what we needed to do after buying in the right spots in 22 and 3, and selling in the right spots after buying before the bull run in 21, and then selling before the bear market in 21. It was a very fine line, but now this is the real, and I know because some people have sent me messages. I know a few of you out there. I know Define feels this way about certain tokens as well. Like, this is the one. Once this happens, because not a lot of you have been in alt season that watch me. We've been in this before. This is what I was saying in 21. If you guys, by the time we get back to this, it's going to feel like second nature because we've been here before. We've been here before. We've been through the storm. Ironically, it's storming in the background. I'm sure you can see it's a little rainy and stuff. But we've been here before. So everybody who's nervous, don't be nervous. Be far from it. Remember the accumulation talk? This is the accumulation phase of all accumulation phases right now. Who gives a rat's ass if it goes down 20 cents or 20%? If you really like it now, you really should like it 20% from here down. But guess what? That's not what it looks like's happening here. We knew rate cuts weren't happening. I've said it from the beginning. We might get them, but I think September's our best bet. I've been saying it since the beginning. And did I not tell you guys this morning exactly what Jerome Powell would say? We need more data. It's because of tariffs. It's the unemployment rate, yada, yada, yada. The same line of horse shit we've been hearing for 4 decades. We can predict it without even predicting it now. It's so lame. You know, they got to try something new. So he's the lame duck status walking. So basically they pile it all on him, and then the next one they say, oh, God darn it. That's it. I've had enough. You're fired, you cocksucker. And we're raising him 75, or we're lowering, 75 or 100 basis points. It won't just be 25. they're going to come in strong, and Trump's going to say, see, I care about the American people, god damn it. Excuse my French, gosh darn it. And then all the people are going to be like, yes. Oh my God, my son's sleeping. Hold on, let me get off of this. But then we're all going to sit here. But anyhow, the point is, we're all just walking the slaughter here. So if you want to avoid the slaughter that the American people are walking into and the rest of the world, please don't take lightly this crypto movement we're about to have here in the altcoins. And particularly the ISO and the Internet of Things token, the IoT. Please, 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 if you don't do one thing, take a screenshot tonight. And I don't care if it goes down 20% from here. Take a screenshot at where these numbers are right now. IOTA at 20 cents. Algo at 25 cents. Just please take a screenshot. I don't even care about Ethereum and Bitcoin. Those are trash. You can take a picture if you want, but you can throw them in the trash if you would like. XLM, take a picture at 41. XDC, especially at 9.6. DGB, oh, baby. I might have to find a platform just to own you because I can't do this anymore. But DGB at 0088 at that price, my God. H-bar, 25.9 cents. Then going to Den at 0007. Going to Band at 69.7 cents. ZIL at 0.1. God, that's a tragedy at 1.1 cent. My God, what are we talking about here? V-Chain at 2.4 cents. DAT at 1.6. Axelar at 36. I mean, just take a picture. We're going to be talking here 1 year from now, and we're going to say, oh my God. Yeah, I mean, if it's down 50%, oh God damn, I mean, 50% for me, Jesus Christ, what are we doing at that point? We're going to say, well, guess what? Now look how much we have. Aren't we happy that it went down 50%? Just wait until that happens. But I suspect it's going to be far different from that. My gut tells me we're getting close to something unprecedented here, and I'm all for it. I'm trying to show you that there's no wavering for me at this point because there's no reason. There's no reason. I sat through XRP for 2 fucking years. We bought it in 23 just to get the payoff. And that's not even the real payoff. That's what people don't understand. This isn't the payoff. This is just to get you into the promised land. So let me put it in perspective. If you only had $3,500 put in the market and you put $10,000 in, and I got to read something from the Telegram because it really does put it in perspective. It's from Telegram. You put it public, so I want to read it. But it's the greatest testimonial I'll ever get. But it's just something that'll put it in perspective what we've done here. You know, why the community is what it is and why I've garnered some respect, but I've also have a lot of foes too. But they always come back. I always tell you, the ones that are my biggest foes, they come back after and say, God darn it. I could have had this much or I could have had that. No, you can. A missed opportunity isn't a lost moment. I didn't understand that when I was younger. And the way I just said it, I wish I would have thought about it when I was younger. But a missed opportunity isn't a lost moment. Some of my biggest moments were lost opportunities. But at least, you know, it was either I went for it or I didn't. I either panned out or I didn't. I tried so many different things before I actually figured it out in life. The point is I was trying. Failing like a son of a bitch. Failing. And right when I thought I got the trading down, they delisted something. I said, what the fuck is a delist? That's when I thought I had it on the charts. So what the hell's delisting? You can delist my asset without telling me this is fucking bullshit. Sorry. But this is all experience that you get. You know, you're getting my experience when you watch. And because I don't take the easy way out, you get the real experience. The day I come on and say, you know, some stupid promo, you'll know the day's overshining. So, but you know what else? The other thing is, I know earlier was all fine and dandy being a little more serious, but you know what I realized? How many people come in here at night or during the day and they're just having they want to rip their fucking hair out. And you come in here and the last thing you want to hear is some asshole yelling and screaming and kicking you in the nuts. But what you want to hear is you want to hear an inviting place. So think about it this way. The inviting moment here tonight, and I'm going to show you, is the Internet of Things and the ISO, and all you need to know is, are we not going digital? Are they not think about where you live, and we'll get into this discussion. Just think about where you live right now, where your kids go to school, and I'm going to make a point here at the Internet of Things and what's happening. Good evening, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, July 30th, 2025. My God, this year is going way too fast. I'm XRP future millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. We may not be able to say that. Future millionaire after this cycle's over. Not because of just XRP, because of all the opportunities XRP's given us, and the way that we perfectly played XRP with an additional doubled our bag when it went down to 38 cents, just so at some point we could spawn it off into something else. And I'll tell you what, that was the best $5,000 I ever spent to turn it into 30 plus whatever, wherever it ended up, blah, blah, blah. But it turns into a whole hell of a lot of other things. A whole heck of a lot of other things. And, oh my God. I'm just telling you guys, if this cycle plays out this way, none of you are going to have any worries anymore. None of you. And don't worry about, oh my God, it dropped down. Who cares? I'm telling you. If, oh man. In 21, I didn't command the respect. In 25, people are like, oh my God, if he's this serious, what's really coming? Who knows what's really coming? But at the end of the day, we know it's actually coming. If you look at the macro, you should never be afraid. If you look at that monthly, don't be afraid. If you don't be afraid. We're literally getting a convergence and the moving average convergence. Oh, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The only thing I'd be afraid of is not, you know. Oh, Fast Eddie, it doesn't matter where you move. It doesn't matter where you move. You know? It doesn't. Everybody's always going to find a way. You know? Everybody's always going to find a way. There's always that person. Fortunately for me, I live right next to the police station too, so I mean, I'm kind of in a good spot in that regard. I don't know where I live, everything's right next to me, so proceed with caution, I suppose. But I am armed, so I'm not afraid from that perspective. You don't often see me without a piece on me, so, or some kind of weapon. So like that, I don't know. That's the part where it is what it is. It is what it is, and I would hate to think that way, but you know, I think if you're looking for violence, it comes to you. But if that's not what you're looking for, you know, you try not to put things out there too much, but you can do this. You know, we can all do this. You know? But yeah, I mean, obviously. Yep. It works that way. It definitely works that way. It definitely works that way. But, you know, you never know. You never know with the way people are, right? But I can't think that way. If I think that way, then it becomes something. But it's kind of ironic because I've always lived my life in the shadows, and now here we are with 45,000 people. But if it ever got to that point, you know, if we ever got to that point, I probably wouldn't be here full time in this house. So, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But anyhow. Ooh, spraying too. That's a good idea. You know what? That is the next step. Gotta have something on me like that for close quarters. Quick moments. I like that. You know, I'd rather do that than stab somebody with my... Well, let's not get into it. But anyhow, let's get back to the charts. It's always... We can always talk about all the bad that can happen, but... You know, it's like they say, when you're favored by God... And Tyson said it best. When you're favored by God, you're also favored by the devil. And I see that so truly. I see that so truly. So, you know, you just gotta have your faith. You gotta stay by the people that represent you best and not get caught up with the wrong stuff. Is the way I look at it. So, I think somebody'd be pretty disappointed if they tried to rob me because I ain't got no money on me for the most part. The money that I have is elsewhere. So I'm pretty fucking pissed off. I always told you I think it'd be pretty funny if somebody actually did, because what am I gonna give you, a card that you can't even use? Good luck. In today's world of triple fucking authentications, it's pretty hard. You know. But anyhow, I can't be distracted right now. So with the altcoins and the Internet of Things, I think it's the direction to look here, because That's where it truly changes things. The game is going to change here once we bounce into alt season here and we actually have this happen. You're basically going to have to add to a lot of these. They're going to flip a 0. And yeah, XRP, it might seem like it's slow in comparison to some of the others, only because it's so far ahead. You got to remember, it's already at $3 plus. As to where like some of the other ones are so far down that it just, you know, it happens. Is XDC a double top? Probably not. I would suggest this is just the first layer, likely. I think this is just the beginning, if I'm being honest. If this is a double top, we've got a long winter to come. And that doesn't mean it can't come down farther, but I certainly don't think this is a double top. I just think this is a flag or something forming here. It's just early. Could be a pennant that's forming and we just can't see it yet. And if it was a pennant, you'd have this downtrending resistance, right? And then you'd have the uptrending support that we just can't see yet if it happens. Who knows? Maybe when it's all said and done, we'll have something like this. But I don't know what it is yet. We could just break out. You know, but that's the resistance, so we'll see. But, I mean, we have a golden cross here in the daily just forming. We have a nice reversal here, finally. You know, and we had a nice pull down, pushing up. We haven't had that big breakout yet. I don't know. I would say this wouldn't be with a double top. I know the micro double top, but I think if we're looking at a double top, it's going to have to wait until we get back up to that 15+ cent range. Good question, though, because, I mean, that's definitely something to be watching right now. Definitely something to be watching. But let me get into some of these comments, because I did see a couple donations that I certainly don't want to miss. Assuming YouTube doesn't screw me, because it did close down this. Let's see if it just opens up. Ah, perfect. So, let's see. Let me say for the donations first, just in case it does disappear. Bob Burtner, thank you so much for the $20 donation and being in Tom's Army for over 1 year with the I Told You So badge. I really, really appreciate that, my friend. You are so awesome. That's great. That's great. And Trading with Jay Wright, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the XRP Diamond Hands badge. And also the $10 donation. Super, super generous. Thank you so much for that. It says stay focused community. That's what we have to do here. Just like before. Look at it this way. It's not just XRP now. If you missed out on XRP, for the love of God, don't miss out on these. I've been saying it over and over and over again. If you missed out on XRP at 34 cents, remember, when we got XRP at 34 cents, like something like IOTA or Algo, they were not even under $1 a lot of the time. A lot of the times when we were watching them, they were several dollars. And we were looking at them saying, my God, why can't XRP be up there with them? Remember when everybody was bitching and moaning, myself included, for some of the time, that why couldn't XRP be up here? And this chart's awful for IOTA. We need a bigger chart. Sorry, we're looking at this from a longer perspective. We can't just look at a 2024 chart. But we were looking at it saying, why are all of these producing in such a way? And XR, oh, that's the right chart. I was going to say, why the hell is that other one so small? I swear it was cold. Micro syndrome. It's micro charts. George Costanza said it best. Anyhow, let's see. IOTA, when you actually look at the chart and you go back, we were talking for so long, like, why the hell is XRP so cheap? And look at where this was at for so long. All the way up here at 268, all the way over here even at 205, even back here in 22. Now look at this. This is, buy me, you morons, including Tom. What are you waiting for? But I'm not waiting anymore, but it did sing that song to me, so I had to buy it. I heard the song. And I still hear the song like, hello. Like, how long are we going to wait? And you know I can't wait forever, Tom. So I just said, I'm just going to keep buying. Keep making me look stupid, I'm going to buy more. I've come to the philosophy now. I'm serious. That philosophy has led me to over 30,000 IOTA now. I'm just going to keep doing it. Every time I look stupid, I'm going to buy more. I've come to the new philosophy, and it's going to work wonders. I've had this in my gut since day one about IOTA, and I know a lot of you know this. It's just like how I feel with XDC. It's just there. And Algo, it's just there. And H-Bar, it's just there. Even Mike Maloney likes H-Bar, which is kind of funny. Makes me be like, I love it. But why? So, it's nice to see some things, but I mean, fuck. I don't even know what else to say anymore to myself. I look at these, I'm like, what else do you want me to say, Tom? Like, what else could I possibly show you? I'm at 20 cents right now. Do you remember in 22 when I was 10 times more and you were salivating at these thoughts of 10 cents? And then I have to sit there and go, well, yes, I do. And that's exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's exactly what I'm doing, It's the same reason I did what I did with XRP when it hit that uptrend. I said, I'm not missing this. I dare say there's a lot more upside in these because of where they're at. Holy shit, it's starting to rain pretty hard again. This is nice. I don't have to water shit. Speaking of which, oh, those sons of bitches. The groundhog got some of my stuff, guys. It's a tragedy. Fucking tragedy. Not even gonna get into it, but it got some of my goodies from my garden. Yep. Not everything, but it did take out my corn, which is fine. I didn't even care really about that. But it took out one of my pot plants, and that's what I'm not so happy about. Actually, I think two. But anyhow, but look at this. This is what we're setting up here in the grand scale, and it's like, eventually it's not going to be in this setup. This is a huge, huge consolidation that's setting up here. I mean, massive. And eventually it's just not going to be here anymore. And I know it. I know at some point we're going to be talking about this, I'm going to say, oh my God. And I want everybody to be like, oh my God, I'm glad I took advantage. That's what I want. I want everybody to be like, I'm so glad I took advantage of this. This changed my life. You know? It changed everything. I used to be the guy who went to work 9 to 5 and had 3 jobs. And now I actually like my job because I have money. You know, when you come from a position of money and you don't have so much debt, I find that it makes you think a little bit different. I remember how I thought when I had all this debt and I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills. It makes you think different and take a lot more risk than you would usually be willing to take. How does this sound for familiar? You get your paycheck and you put it all in crypto knowing that it's your bill money. And every 1% down, you're looking at saying, oh my God, there goes the fucking light bill. And then you become more of a gambler and you're like, well, now I got to get into leverage. And then before you know it, you lose the whole damn paycheck. And now who knows, some people might be taking out loans. I've heard the stories, and it's amazing how quickly the mind works when you're making bad decisions. And when you compound a bad decision with another one. So what we're trying to do is make good decisions here. And just remember, I'm going to say it again, the Internet of Things and the ISO tokens, that's it. Do some research. And I can give you a very big head start. They're all on my list. Algo, ISO. IOTA, mainframe token for the Internet of Things. XRP, ISO. XLM and XDC, ISO. XDC's speculative, though, because some say it's got some interoperability with the IoT. But listen, remember what I was going to before I said the intro? And I bring things around in a weird way, but it's time to tie this in. But remember when I said think about your kids' schools? I gave you a lot of time to think about this. Notice how, like, and in my area and a lot of other areas, they tore down the other schools and they put all 3 schools in the exact same spot. So within, 1,000 feet, you've got the elementary, high school, and the middle school, all in the exact same spot. Notice how there's a lot more apartment complexes. They're trying to turn these cities into smart cities, and we're going to be like the 3-mile city, but we're not going to get into that. But they're going to be powered by smart technology. So it's going to have to connect devices. It's going to have to connect utility, like the technology between like transportation, just your electrical connections with all of your stuff, like your devices, all of it, all the way through to the smart, just everything you use right now, your phone, your tablets, your computers, your TVs, your washing machines, your fridge, your lights. The people that are getting to the point to where now they have the smart houses. I will be damned if I will not have anything but me control my locks or all that. I've seen the way this goes down. I'm already pushing it by having these smart devices. We get it. But what controls that? The Internet of Things. The Internet of Things. The Internet of Things. And it seems so simple because we know about it, and I had to remember this. It seems so simple to us or me because I know about it. But looking at it from the outside, people look at me like I'm fucking crazy. Even the people in my family, I'll talk about this stuff. Like, what are you talking about? The Internet of Things? Are you out of your fucking mind? And I'm like, listen, like, and then it's like, what's the point of wasting the breath? So I'll just do it here and waste my breath if I do, but at least it's out here. The Internet of Things that connect it all you have to do is look at main ones. Like IOTA, like that's the big one. Oh, that's the big boy. And at 20 cents, you know, and DGB is another one, and it pains me that what happened to me. Oh, I cringe at night. It pains me what happened. So I just bought more IOTA in its place. But it still pains me. Pains me. VeChain, another big one with the Internet of Things. A lot of people say, oh, Tom, I can't find data. But I'm telling you, the streamer token is STREAMR. It's part of the Internet of Things. May not be one of the more popular ones, but it is part of it. It has a lot of connectivity issues, or it resolves a lot of connectivity issues with these stupid Internet of Things appliances that are going to be stupid robots. But that's what we're talking about. We're funding the robots, okay? So if you want to get ahead and you want to fund the robots, it's not just the AI. You got to be part of the Internet of Things tokens, because they're the ones who push the info. Remember that. They're the data ones. So you can either make the money with it, or you can just sit on the sidelines and let it happen to you anyhow. It's the same logic I have with XRP. The government runs it. It's got all the connections with the World Economic Forum, with the International Monetary Fund. Sorry, JW, I'm not going to go farther down the rabbit hole. But, you know, it's the same reasoning what I had before, and it's the same I'm going to continue to have. This is what runs this next chapter of this world. So all you can do is invest in it. Do you ever say, man, I wish I would have had the opportunity to invest in the .com era, even though I was a little too young for that? But I seen it transpire when I was in high school and so on and so forth. But haven't you ever had that thought, oh, I wish I could have invested in Bitcoin? Some people say, but not from 15,000. I mean, it's great if it goes up 8x. But listen, we're talking about investing in Bitcoin before it was at 1,000, or when it was at a couple hundred or a couple dollars. That's what you're talking about here with the Internet of Things tokens. I mean, they're so freaking cheap. They're so cheap. Zill, I would put that more with like the Zill's a weird one. Zill's a weird one because it really does, it capitalizes on that what's coming in the next chapter when you look at virtual reality and when you have in-game purchasing and things like that. With the Zilliqua network, they tapped into all of that a long time ago, and they've upgraded it to where it's going to kind of stand on its own for a while once they flip the switch, in a sense, to that era. And you'll know when they flip the switch to that, because you're going to be able to put something on your head, and your eyes are going to go back to the back of your head, and you're going to be in VR. I'm not joking. They did an episode of Black Mirror about it. It's actually real. It's very close to coming out. And that's the VR that I've waited for my whole life, because that's when you cross from reality to non-reality. But you have to have the tokens that are pushing all of this. I think that's when Zilliqua is going to fucking go crazy. So, you know, I have the Angels number with Zill. So you can understand 222 plays a big role. So you can understand how many tokens. I give you a big hint just now. It's not a crazy amount of money, but the amount of tokens are symbolic for me. So, and if they give me another opportunity, I think I'm gonna take it. But this whole next chapter it's going to be worked in a certain way. And I know we're not looking at the charts as much, but this is what's important. Like, these are the decisions we really have to make. And I think we're making the right decision. I really do. I think so many people are going to be asleep at the wheel this time around, and we're going to say, oh my goodness. Lord, our Lord and Savior, for whatever reason, put his guiding arm around us and said, listen, son or daughter, even if you believe or not, somebody else believes for you, so that's good enough for me. And it's true. You know, so I think we just have to take that guidance and we have to follow it in the right way. But you got to look yourself in the mirror during this process too and say, who do I want to be? If you're an asshole now, man, are you going to be a real dick if you have a lot of money? If you're a giver, you're going to be one of the greatest people in this. And I'm not talking about give to somebody who doesn't need to be given to, or somebody who doesn't want to help them. I'm talking about really being able to do something. But hey, let's see. Ben B. Joseph, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months with the XP Predictor along with Papa Wheelie. Defined Group, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 months with the XP Meteor. Being a very trusted mod in here and the Telegram. Bearded Viking, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. I appreciate your message too, but I cannot give you an answer to your question because I can't make that portfolio decision for you, my friend. I, I would love to. I would love to say here's what you can do, but I can't do that. I can give you all the guidance in the world, but I'm not going to tell you what to buy. Nor am I going to put myself in that situation. Even friend to friend, I can't do it. I can tell you what I think. Do I think IOTA is going to get back to Alta? Yes, I do, but whether it does or not remains to be seen. You know, I think a lot of these are going to get back to all-time highs, but you know, is it going to happen now, 2026, 2080? Who knows? But I do think that's what we're going to rotate back into. This alt, whenever alt season happens, they're going to. It's not really going to matter if it's IOTA or Algo or H bar. Well, I mean, to an extent it will. But it's not going to matter so much. It's going to matter so much if you pick the right utility. If you pick the wrong utility, you're screwed. Because the money's going to siphon from somewhere. And I think memes are going to have a very hard road on this next chapter. Once we actually solidify into alt season, memes are going to drain. Some of these fancy meme tokens are going to go belly up. They do every single time, and that brings a lot of capital and liquidity. And you know they do that, right? They use meme tokens to sucker in retail for easy money. And then right when retail's all bloated, they strip them in a matter of, a day or two, and they don't even know what hit them, buying the whole way down on these stupid memes. And then what ends up happening is that money finds utility within the real tokens. The real yield is taken in the real utility tokens because that's where the real money is at. It happens all the time. You're going to see it again here. It's the same thing they did with the GOAT token. They circulated the sheep. They rounded them up and said, here's the easy money on the XRP, right? This is easy money. XRP never moves, and everybody was so willing to sell their XRP. Now they're sitting at, 12 cents, 15 cents, while XRP's at 3.12. A little bit of patience is a virtue, as they say. Even if you give shit a value, it still remains shit. Just remember that when you're trading a meme. Just because it's got some artificial value, it's still a pile of shit. Just if gold's down, it's still gold. If you have something like a utility token that's actually got utility, and XRP's got massive utility, we get misled a lot by the people who try to push it because they want more money. But it's got utility, and nonetheless. So it's not shit. Some of the things the founders do make it harder for the price to go up to where we want, but it remains that it's still not a pile of garbage. But yeah, it's so hard in this world, right, of crypto. It's so hard in the world of crypto to try to kind of cipher through and distinguish what's real and what's not because everybody's telling you something different. But if you come in here, I'm going to tell you the same thing whether you think I'm full of crap or not because it's all I know. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm willing to go down with the ship. And if I go down with the ship, we'll live to fight again. We'll find a smaller ship, and then we'll build it back up. But I don't like the downsize. I like to stay where I'm at and stay below my means so that if we find a wavy moment, we can sustain, sit through it, and be able to build back better, so to say, not like what they say in our stupid country. But we could build it back better in the sense that we still have proper funding, and then we know the opportunities, we know the bailout, and then we know the retake. So it's kind of like when you're in the war and you're in battle. For everybody who's ever been in battle, I'm sure they can relate. Like if you've been over in war. I haven't been in that situation, but, it goes something like, we're going to go in, we're going to take over, we're going to do this and that. Oh my God, we're overpowered. It's either we continue to go and we put our lives down, or we're smart enough to retreat, regather, regroup, reassemble, see what kind of resources we have left, come up with a plan that's better, maybe with a little more stealth, maybe with a little more firepower. Who the hell knows what the decision's going to be because, after all, it's not my decision to make. That's above my pay grade. But you reutilize yourself, and then you try to go back in with a better plan. But the point is you take a second and you reassemble, you reevaluate what's going on. That's what's happening in crypto. Nothing to reevaluate right now. Everybody's running around in the micro, but there's nothing to reevaluate. The bottom line is here, if you're watching today, for frick's sake, calm down. A lot of people are getting caught up in the micro. The micro doesn't matter. Unless you're trying to enter, the micro doesn't matter. And if you're trying to enter right now, you shouldn't just be trying to enter right now. It's a golden opportunity, I could dare say. But even golden opportunity can go down 20% before it's realized, you know. But where we're back testing on these massive golden crosses, even for XRP, if the 20-day ride's out here, that means we're finally going to utilize into the higher time frames, and it's going to be a spectacular thing. And then we're going to start to move out towards those targets that we've had. And some people are like, well, Tom, if we're going to go out to $5.49, you cocksucker, why are you telling me not to buy it? Because, listen, guy, listen, friend, because XRP going to $5.49 and you throwing $1,000 on it here, congratulations, you've made a percentage, but you've already missed the boat. Even if it goes to $5.49, I don't care what anybody says. Yes, that's my projections, and it's done exactly what we thought so far, but even from here, like, think about this. Let's say XRP gets on its horsey. It gets all the way up here. My God, we get up here. Hell, we utilize it the best we can. Congratulations, you made 104%. Oh, we're very happy, the ones who have been in it since 34 cents. That's a different story. It's a whole different fucking story. If it goes up $3.24, we 10x it again, and my God, was that a $30,000+ move. But for somebody who just bought in, I mean, you're priced out in retail. Because if you're only going to drop $3,000 on XRP and you were able to buy 10,000 then, and you still have only 3,000 to drop now, that 3,000 turned into 6. Congratulations, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm trying to tell you is, why go there? Why go there? And I know I keep going back to IOTA, but I mean, Lord have mercy. Look, unless I'm seeing this and completely wrong, or like Algo, it's the same thing. I sit there and I go, oh God. And I know it because we watched this happen with XRP. I know I've been here before. My God, we've been here before. And now I think it's going to go one after the other after the other. My God, and we're going to sit here one day and we're just going to say, thank you, Jesus, for allowing us to all be here together, watching it for all this time, and creating abundance for not just I, but an abundance for all. I think it's really going to come to that. And yeah, there's going to be other people that are able to inspire people to make far more money than I can allow you to make. But we're doing it the right way. We're not doing it with $10 million to make, you know, hey, we made a $400,000 today, but I put $500,000 in and we had or $1 million we made a fit. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about real life changing. If you've got 500 grand to throw at it, that's not really life changing to make a few $100,000. Maybe it is. Maybe it's all your money, but look where we're at right now. If this pans out, I mean, if you didn't know anything else looking at these charts, what would you be thinking right now? Would you think this is bad? If you didn't know anything else looking at this, would you think this is bad? Oh, I do prefer to be anonymous in person. I've had one person who recognized me that lives by me, and it's both encounters. Nice person, but it's still weird because I'm a very private person. So especially with my son being special needs and having 2 or 3 girls in the house, if I get the wrong feeling, I'm not gonna hold bars. I'll ask questions later, and that's the kind of person I am. So don't get in my way is the kind of thing, you know. So I'm a kind of person who asks questions later if my safety feels threatened. FYI. So. But anyhow, let's see. I had the opportunity to invest in Bitcoin at 700. Yeah, similar story. Didn't take it. That's what led me here now. Yep, trading with J-Ride. Similar story. My uncle Billy, I don't know, for a few $100, he was investing in Bitcoin. And I remember being at a family party one year at my grandma and grandpa's house when my grandma was still alive. And I was like, I didn't have any money. But I did, but I didn't. But I was living at home, but I didn't. But I was still living at home, so I mean, what did I really have to pay for? A stupid fucking car? You know, that's what I mean. Why didn't my parents tell me don't get a fucking new car and lease it? Get a piece of shit car for $1,000 or $2,000 so you don't have a payment. That's what the dichotomy here. But because of that, it made me realize the next what I was seeing, and then I really studied the. But anyhow, my uncle Billy was like telling us at this party, like, hey, I know it's like $500-600, and I was a security guard at the time. So for me to make 500 or to buy a token would have cost me how many hours? Let's see, 10 hours. I was working like 12 hours a day for what, $11 an hour. Anyhow, I don't know. Let's just say I was making $120 a day. It would have took me a fucking 5 days just to get one Bitcoin. But the point is, if I would have just kept doing what he was saying, who knows? Maybe I could have got 3 or 4 Bitcoin. And now look at it. And to say, well, how do you know you would have held it? He still has some from that money. He sold some along the way, not until like 50,000, believe it or not. I think he sold a couple at 20,000, a couple more at 50, but he still got a few of them enough at where it's at right now. So it can happen. So I'd like to believe that I'm just the next wave in our family that understands. And then, you know, and he was about my age when all that was happening. And now 20 years, you take it 20 years from now and see where he's at now. And it's like, well, shit, me not. That's right where we're at again. And look at Algo. If I'm just showing you this and you know technicals, are we afraid of this? Daily golden cross back test, huge inverse head and shoulders. Looks like a double bottom, then it formed like a Gartley bottom. Until this breaks down, why should we be afraid? I don't care how many times it punches me, we'll just get right back up. Why would we be afraid? Does anything here look like we should be afraid? Tanya, are you afraid? And thank you for being in Tom's Army for over, what is that? 2 years with the XRP 589 moon badge. I greatly, greatly appreciate that. So very much. I know you're not afraid. What did Nick say? Nick Fax, Tanya, I'm so happy you said that. You were so very... I gotta go up and find what Tanya said. Alt season isn't really yet. Ethereum needs to do its thing. Yep. 100%. 100%. And it's a little early still for Ethereum unless it just gets hot. Because I could see it being towards the end of the first quarter of 2026. But it doesn't mean it can't happen early. But it could be early. Well, I mean, technically it broke out, you know, a little bit early. But right now, though, it's not looking horrible. You know, just in the entirety of this, I don't think it looks bad at all. Yeah, we could have micro pain, but I don't think it looks bad at all. In the long term, even the micro might give us some yield here. Who knows? But no, I agree with that. Certainly agree with that. Moo, when is the copy trading coming back? When we all understand things a bit better, is the best I can say. Define says, Nick, you, Tom, and Tanya allowed me to sit back and put my feet up today. I actually bought today and said something. See that? And look at how we had that drop, having capital to the side. And you said, you know what? I'm not afraid of this. Beautiful. It's true. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. Preach, Dennis, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge and me being abducted by aliens. I say it all the time in a similar way. I can teach you to fish, you know, but if I'm baiting the hook, if I'm casting the line, if I'm reeling the fish in, if I'm cleaning it and cooking it, but all you're doing is eating, what have I really taught you? You know? So, when you put it all together, if you can do each and every one of the steps, in essence, I become obsolete, and that's okay. But you'll continue to be a warrior for the righteous cause. And that's what I believe. Even if you don't technically need me anymore. Like, I don't think Nick needs me. I don't think a few of you need me. But I think there's strength in numbers. And I think when you finally get unified with people that believe the same thing as you, how many of you finally being in the Telegram, or at least even in the chat, you're like, man, it feels good to talk to somebody who doesn't think I'm crazy when I talk about this stuff. Because I know in your personal life, it can't be much different than mine. Man, am I just going all over the place here this evening with my desk. I'm just rolling around the living room. But it just feels good when you can actually bounce off what you can see and what you know off of people that understand. Or ones that actually have the interest. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So I'm trying to see these comments before I leave because I know I've just gone on a big 360 here. Let's see. You and Tom are so very right. What isn't right in front of our faces? But only the serious will see it. Years we have been waiting. Yep. It's so true, Dennis. DBCM is running, Noah says. Glad to hear that, actually. I'm very glad to hear that. Tanya's not afraid. I didn't think so. I didn't think so. I'm not afraid. I think the ones who are, they're not afraid. What's going on with LTO coin? Something going. I have no idea what the hell LTO coin is. To be honest with you, I've never even heard of it. I have a very defined focus. Living the dream. I apologize. What the hell is that? Syrian, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You. I can't believe it's been over a year. And thanks for being a very trusted mod. And a trusted mod also in the Telegram. Frankie Fresh, thanks for being in Tom's Army 3+ months with the XP Meteor. Tanya says, you're our daddy, Tom the GOAT. I appreciate that. Who's your daddy? No, I'm just trying to lead us in the right direction. But, you know, I could see it. Cult-like following, leading the charge, but, you know, in the name of abundance, not in the name of crime, I should say. I know some people, I'm telling you, from the public eye, they still think we're criminals by trading crypto. I kid you not, in 2025. In 2025, even our own governments partially think we are. I don't understand it either. It's kind of like the days of gold and silver, and they didn't want us to own it. They'd say, oh, these guys are fucking criminals. Doesn't that give you that same kind of fucking feel? It's weird. It's like, what are we doing? Why is it so complicated? Like, what are they trying to hide from us? I think wealth. You're going to get it, Dennis. You'll get generational wealth. But just generational wealth doesn't happen overnight. It comes to those who understand. Some get lucky by virtue. They were just in it at the exact right time, and it doesn't stop. But in my experience, you start at X amount of dollars. Some people think you start at 3,000, you're going to get to $1 million overnight. No. That 3,000 oftentimes goes through a cycle to 10 or 15, 20. You capitalize, do it right. The next time you get into it, maybe you turn it into 100,000. And then it's that next time you get into it. Now maybe you got, instead of 3,000 in the market, maybe you got 30, 40, 50,000. And that's when it starts to turn itself more and more and more. And then along the way, you start buying gold and silver with those profits. And then it starts to excavate. And then maybe you start to buy into some other things. Maybe you start to take more seriously your retirement. And you get into like some of the mutual emerging market funds, like mutual funds. But I'm not telling you to get an advisor. I am not an advisor. But I'm telling you, you can do this on your own. You know how I know that? Because I do it. And I was just some idiot who had a very low-end college degree, 2-year college degree, general business administration. Fortunately, I didn't take out any loans for that crazy, such prestigious degree from Macomb Community College. And I don't know what it really did for me, but, I technically am doing my own business. But, there's steps to this. You can't just get there overnight. And you can't just know everything without knowing something. So if you don't know anything, know this when you leave this evening. The Internet of Things, and the Internet of Things. Because I dare say if you understand what crypto is at all, you're already going to know what the ISO is. At least with the, the ISO framework and the new HTML coding. So you're going to look for the ISO. By virtue, you're going to say, what's an ISO token then? And then it's going to say, well, so-and-so, XRP, XLM, HBAR, Algo, yada. And it always says the same thing. XRP, XLM, XDC, HBAR, Algo. Or sometimes it'll throw in a few others. Some people will say buy Solana. I say only if you're a rich person that wants to buy and sell and have the biggest pump and dump token. That's like the meme token amongst the big players. That's for the big guys. They can put large amounts of money and finesse the little guys. But anyhow, guys. Yeah, John, it's okay. I haven't really covered anything this evening. This was more about me talking, but I have to go. It's the way I wanted to do things this evening. I want you to think beyond the charts. I want you guys to think beyond just the charts. I want it to be more about the moment. Think about the moment. Think about where I'm showing you on when we were talking about the MACD and the RSI and just where we're at with the EMAs and overall. I don't think we're at a double top here. Sure, it could consolidate some, but I think this is just the start. So no, I don't think we're done yet. If we are done, so be it, but I don't think we're done yet. in the grand scheme, I don't think this is where that ends. I don't think the fat lady is sung, so to say. I really don't. And if she has and I am that fat lady, well, shit, I'm going to be surprised. But, you know, maybe the Matrix is speaking in a different way. But I don't think we're overwhelmingly done yet. I don't think we're done. So with that being said, I'm done. I can tell you I'm done here. This is my second live of the day. I want to go check on Julie. My son's asleep, so I'm overstaying my welcome just by talking. So I want to make sure he stays asleep. And I appreciate the grace from everybody. Thank you all so much. I apologize for missing some of the comments. I look forward to seeing you in the Telegram. If you want to be a part of this freaking beautiful place, join the Telegram. You got to join Tom's Army. And if you want to join the Tom's Army, we'll go through the steps. You got to go onto my webpage, go here. It's the easiest way. Just go into memberships and join Tom's Army. I've been a member for 50 months with the XRP Phoenix badge. And, you know, it is what it is. You can get there, go into the post, and then you can just click on here, and then you'll be part of the Telegram. I think it's phenomenal. Got the community hub, got the pager part that only I can talk in, that Define did that, which is awesome. We had a scammer. Let's see. Just had a scammer user, Nancy Kate, message me from out of the blue. Seems like another scammer to you. Hi, you all scammer. Oh yeah, that's a scammer. We'll deal with that. It's probably already been dealt with. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways to deal with this, and that's exactly why we have the places and the stuff in place and so on and so forth. So have a blessed one, everybody.